There are moments when everything you built turns to ash, dreams collapse quietly, prayers seem to vanish before reaching heaven. You look around, and all that remains is the dust of what once was. But even in the ashes, something remembers light. It's strange how memory works in the soul. Even after the fire has devoured everything familiar, a spark still hides beneath what seems ruined. It waits, patient, silent, like the memory of a sunrise buried in darkness. And when the wind of grace passes over it, that spark stirs again. The ashes are not your ending. They are the soil where resurrection begins. Every loss you've endured, every unanswered prayer, every fall, they are not proofs of absence, but invitations to rediscover presence. Because only in the aftermath of the flame can you see what never burned, your essence, your spirit, your connection to the eternal light. You thought the fire was punishment. It wasn't. It was purification. It burned away what was never meant to stay, so that what is indestructible in you could finally be seen. And that indestructible thing, that golden ember that never dies, is the mark of the divine within you. So don't fear the ashes. They remember the light that created them, and when the time comes, that memory will bloom again, not as what was lost, but as what was always meant to remain. Darkness was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to teach you how to see differently. When the world goes dim, when familiar light disappears, the eyes of the soul begin to adjust. And in that sacred adjustment, revelation is born. There's a kind of beauty that only exists in the dark. The kind that doesn't dazzle, but hums. The kind that doesn't shout, but comforts. In darkness, every light becomes more precious. Every glimmer becomes a promise. Every breath becomes proof that grace still moves through you. You learn to stop running from the dark and start listening to it. It's not silence. It's an echo chamber for faith, because only when your own strength fades do you begin to feel the strength that isn't yours, the strength that has been holding you all along. Sometimes God doesn't remove the night. He teaches you how to see in it. He plants small lights, memories, moments, mercy, so that even if you can't find your way, you'll remember where you are. That's what divine love does. It glows quietly in what feels impossible. So if you're walking through a season where everything looks shadowed, don't rush to escape it. Hold still long enough, and you'll start to notice the dark isn't empty. It's alive with the faint hum of heaven whispering, "You are not lost. You are learning to glow." Not every fire burns to be seen. Some stay hidden, deep, steady, alive beneath the ashes of your exhaustion. It's the quiet flame that refuses to die, the one that keeps you breathing when your will has gone silent. You may not feel it, but it's there, waiting, keeping you warm from within. There are moments when your spirit seems empty, when faith feels like an echo instead of a flame. You kneel, you whisper, and nothing stirs. But underneath that silence, the fire remains. Not roaring, just waiting for air, waiting for you to remember. The fire of God doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't demand, it sustains. It flickers through mercy and patience, through every act of kindness that costs you something, through every time you keep believing when belief feels foolish. That's the fire. Quiet, eternal, undeniable. You cannot lose it. You can only forget it's there. And sometimes that forgetting is part of the sacred rhythm, because when you rediscover it, you understand its value in a way you never could before. So breathe. Let your heart be the bellows that awaken the flame again. Every breath you take in surrender feeds it. Every tear that falls becomes oil for its light. And soon, the glow returns, not as spectacle, but as strength. The hidden fire of faith doesn't need to be loud to be real. It only needs to remain, and it always does. There's something sacred about your hands. They've built, carried, held, and let go. They've reached out in hope, clenched in fear, opened in surrender. And even when they trembled, heaven still saw them, not as weak, but as instruments of creation. The same breath that moved through the dust of the first human moves through you now. You are still made of that divine material, still capable of shaping light out of nothing, still able to rebuild what was broken, still chosen to continue creation with your touch. When your hands fall empty, remember, emptiness is not failure, it's preparation. It's space being cleared so that something new can begin. God doesn't use full hands, He uses willing ones. And sometimes the waiting, the emptiness, the stillness is the quiet rehearsal before divine work begins again. Look at your hands now, not with shame but with reverence. They have prayed, wiped tears, lifted others, and though they carry scars, they also carry memory. Memory of light, memory of purpose, memory of every time grace passed through them unnoticed. Your hands remember creation because they were born from it. And the moment you raise them again, not in striving but in faith, that same ancient spark reignites. The act of reaching becomes a prayer. The gesture of offering becomes worship. And through those hands, the light that remains begins to move again. Light never rushes. It returns the same way healing does, quietly, patiently, layer by layer. It doesn't burst through the dark in triumph. It seeps in gently, teaching you to see again. And before you realize it, everything around you has begun to glow. That's how God restores. Not through sudden miracles, but through gradual grace. You don't notice it at first. The way fear loses its grip a little each morning. The way peace starts to visit more often than panic. The way your prayers no longer sound desperate, just honest. The slow return of light is not weakness, it's wisdom. Because light that comes too fast can blind you, but the light that grows with you, that walks beside you through shadow, that's the kind that stays. That's the kind that roots itself deep inside your soul and never leaves again. There will be days when you still feel the weight of the dark, when your faith flickers and the old pain whispers. But if you look closely, you'll see the horizon is brighter than yesterday. Hope has been rising quietly while you were busy surviving. And that too is divine. Not the spectacle of sudden change, but the miracle of slow becoming. Because light doesn't just return to the world, it returns to you. And once it does, it begins to teach you how to shine again. Grace has a strange way of growing where you least expect it. Not in perfect gardens, but in broken ground. Not in moments of triumph, but in the days when you can barely lift your head. It finds the cracks and fills them with life. It takes what should have been the end and turns it into a beginning. You don't earn grace, you awaken to it. It has always been here, moving silently beneath your pain, patient as rain waiting for dry earth. You thought nothing could grow from what hurt you, but grace disagreed. It saw what you couldn't and began to plant resurrection in your ruin. There are places in you that still ache, still question, still doubt, but look closer. Even there, something gentle is forming, a seed of peace, a small green hope pressing through the soil of your sorrow. That's grace, unassuming, unstoppable, divine. You see, grace doesn't ask for permission to bloom. It simply grows where love tells it to. It doesn't need perfect weather or ideal timing. It grows in the rain of tears, in the silence of waiting, in the ashes of loss. And when it flowers, it smells like healing. So don't curse the broken ground anymore. It's holy soil now. Every wound that opened became a doorway for something eternal to enter. Every scar became a landmark of grace. And one day, when you look back, you'll see those were the very places where the light that remains decided to live. Hope doesn't always look like light. Sometimes it looks like waiting. Sometimes it looks like getting up one more time when no one notices. Sometimes it looks like tears you don't hide anymore, because something inside you still believes they mean healing. Hope is not loud. It doesn't need applause or certainty to exist. It lives quietly beneath your ribs, like a small pulse that refuses to stop, like a flicker of gold deep in the dark places of your soul. We spend so much time searching for evidence that hope is working, for signs, for outcomes, for things we can measure. But real hope doesn't need proof. It is the proof. The fact that it exists in you, even after everything, is the sign that heaven has not left your side. Hope has a shape, but it changes as you grow. Sometimes it looks like courage, sometimes it looks like peace, and sometimes it's simply the choice to stay soft in a world that keeps trying to make you hard. That softness is not weakness, it's divine resilience. When you can't see the light, when faith feels fragile and the night feels endless, remember, hope is not something you chase, it's something you carry. And even when your hands feel empty, the shape of hope is still there, resting quietly inside you, shaped exactly like grace. There comes a day when the cold begins to fade. You don't notice it at first. The air feels the same. The shadows still linger. But then, one morning the light feels different. It touches your skin and it doesn't sting anymore. It comforts. It restores. It warms. That's how healing returns, quietly, without announcement. It doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. The same heart that once broke begins to beat with gratitude. The same eyes that once wept begin to recognize beauty again. And what once felt empty now holds traces of grace. The return of warmth is God's way of saying you made it. Not because you were strong enough, but because He never stopped breathing life into you. Every moment you thought you were surviving alone, He was keeping your fire alive, unseen, unfailing. You start to feel it in small ways. The laughter that feels real again, the song that makes sense again, the morning you wake up and don't dread the day anymore. That's not coincidence. That's resurrection disguised as routine. Warmth doesn't just return to your body, it returns to your soul. It teaches you that the purpose of winter wasn't to punish you, but to prove that your roots still held. And now that the cold has passed, you can finally feel the truth that has been waiting all along. The light never left, it was simply becoming you. The morning after the storm never arrives with fanfare. It comes quietly, as if heaven tiptoes back into the world. The air smells different, clean, alive, forgiven. You step outside and realize that not everything survived, but somehow you did. There's beauty in what remains after the chaos. The broken branches, the scattered leaves, the puddles reflecting light. They're not signs of destruction anymore. They're proof of endurance. The storm did not come to end you. It came to reveal what could not be destroyed. And that's how grace works. It allows the winds to strip away what was temporary so that what is eternal can breathe again. You may not have the same plans, the same strength, the same certainty, but you have clarity now. And in that clarity, peace begins to bloom. The morning after the storm is not loud with victory, it's soft with gratitude. You look around at what's left, and it's enough, because you are enough. The same light that returns to the sky now lives in your eyes, and every inhale feels like a prayer answered. Don't mourn what the storm took. Rejoice in what it revealed, the unshakable, luminous core that stayed. And when you realize that you're still here, that your heart still beats and your soul still sings, you'll understand. The morning didn't just come after the storm, it came because of it. And now, as everything settles, you see it clearly, the light that never left. It wasn't in the sky, it wasn't in your circumstances. It was inside you all along, flickering beneath every fear, whispering through every silence. This is the light that pain couldn't extinguish, that loss couldn't erase, that time couldn't steal. It's the echo of eternity, the same flame that sparked creation, the same glow that whispered, "Let there be." And through everything you've lived, it has remained, unchanged, undefeated. The storms didn't break you, they revealed your strength. The darkness didn't blind you, it taught you to see. The silence didn't punish you, it prepared you. Every season, every shadow, every pause, they all conspired to uncover the truth you carry now. You were never without light. And as you stand here, breathing in this new beginning, you understand. The purpose of every night was to help you recognize the dawn when it arrived. You've become what you were always meant to be, a vessel of quiet radiance, a living reflection of divine endurance. The light that remains is not borrowed, it's born. It's not fragile, It's faithful. It's not temporary, it's eternal. And when you walk forward from this place, you don't carry the memory of the storm. You carry the fire that outlasted it. Because even when everything fades, faith remains, hope remains, and love remains. That is the light that never dies. That is the light that remains.